Hey, it's Mike Goldstein with Kitchen Remodeling SEO, where we work exclusively with kitchen and bath remodeling contractors, helping them expand their business and generate more leads. Now, in terms of leads to generate, one of the best ways to do that is with Facebook marketing. Now, what I'm going to do today is actually walk you through some of the targeting and show you the different objectives and ways that you can target different people or different audiences, I should say. So the first thing that we do is when we come into our ad manager, we want to create a new ad, we're asked to select who we're trying to target. And it's not so much who in terms of the gender or the behavior, or the geographic area, but rather what their online tendencies are. So there are three main ways that you can go about targeting people. And Facebook understands that people do different things when they're online, so they put them into different buckets. So even if you had selected, for example, a geographic area, an age area, a bunch of specific interests, like people who are interested in kitchen remodeling or people who are interested in home improvement. If you selected a different objective, you would get a very different set of prospects who your ad is shown to. So the first one that we look at is the awareness. This is kind of like the radio station advertisement or the billboard ad. It's really meant to go to the widest possible audience, essentially just stretching your money as far as it can go. And in terms of brand awareness, showing people who are most likely to remember your brand name, and that's really all it is. Reach is just what it sounds like. It is just pump it out there to as many people. There's literally no filters at all in terms of people's online behaviors. So we typically only use reach on a brand new campaign, brand new company, just trying to get the name out there. Very rarely would you do that. Now, there's also kind of the next level, which is people who will take certain actions, but they may not be ready to buy, kind of middle of the funnel folks. So traffic is probably the most common. And what that means is these are people who are very likely to click on an ad and to follow a link. And then, let's see what happens once they get to that landing page or get to the website. So that's a really important driving factor. Maybe, if you're going to retarget people who have already seen a couple seconds of a video, or you're going to retarget people who've already been to a certain website, traffic is probably one of the better ones. Now, engagement is an interesting one. So if you are looking just to get a little bit more viral, if you're looking to get a little more popular and make your ad look better to people, like, make it so that it seems there's more engagement and people are interested, you can select engagement. Now, what engagement does is it targets people who have a tendency to like and share and even comment on posts they see on Facebook. So certainly it's a good way to increase your likes. It's definitely a good way to increase your page follows and whatnot. Now, app installs, it's kind of self-explanatory. These are people who generally do download and install mobile apps. Video views, though, is probably one of the more interesting ones. So video views is meant for people who have a tendency to actually stop the scroll and watch at least 15 seconds of a video. Now, the thing about that is that this is a great top of the funnel way to grab people's attention, to find out if they really have any interest in your product or your message at all. And then you can run a secondary traffic retargeting campaign to those people who you already know have at least have some interest in what you're doing. So in video views, it's probably one of the cheaper ways to go. You generally can get a view for about 1 to 2 pennies. So that's a huge one. Now, lead generation, of course, is something that's a little bit misleading, because all of this is lead generation, right? But what lead generation itself, the objective does, is these are people who have a tendency to actually fill out a form on Facebook's lead generation system. So that doesn't mean that they are likely to convert and buy a product or a service, as much as they have shown a tendency to actually put their information directly into Facebook. So it's one of the more expensive objectives. It costs a lot more per conversion, essentially per lead, but it does target people who are very likely to put their information in. So if you've got a great sales team and you've got a good follow-up process, lead generation is a good objective. If you don't have that in place already, then I would stay away from lead generation because it's very expensive. And these people, like I said, they're not so much ready to buy, but they put their information in everywhere. Now, messaging is an objective that we've been using quite a bit lately. So what messaging does is it actually allows you to put an ad up there with the ability for someone to send a direct message to you. Now, you may be interacting with a chatbot at that point. You might integrate it with ManyChat or with other chat programs. But the thing with messaging is you've got to have somebody either real-time monitoring this 24/7, or you've got to have a strong AI built into a chatbot to answer questions. If you have either of those in place, messaging is a great way to get the conversation started, especially in high-end service-related businesses like kitchen and bath remodeling, where people often are at the top of the funnel when they start this, and they're just looking to get some information, but they're also going to reach out to a whole host of people. And this is a good way. If you can start that conversation right away, they're not going to go to your competitor. Now, the most expensive objectives are these conversion objectives. Conversions really is somebody who has shown a propensity to go to a website and to actually buy a product or to buy a service. Or they maybe go to a website, fill out a form that you want on your landing page that's going to lead to something. So conversions obviously are the ideal candidate for everybody. Everyone wants those conversions, but they are very expensive. And quite frankly, we don't recommend ever using conversions unless it's in a retargeting campaign, because you want to know first that someone has interest. If you just want to send people to your website, traffic will do the job for you. If you want them to actually purchase something, then conversion is the way to go. But the thing with conversions is, remember, if they don't have any interest, you don't want to waste money on that. Let's start with a big wide pot. Then what we're going to do is we're going to send them to a traffic ad, or we're going to at least have them, if they've watched a video, then we can send them into that conversion pot when we know they're at least interested in what we have, and we can put our best foot forward. So I hope this helped you out a little bit. If you have any questions about which method that you should be using, which objective, feel free to reach out to me at Kitchen Remodeling SEO, or just give me a call, 339-645-9461. Again, this is Mike Goldstein with Kitchen Remodeling SEO. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.